This episode brought to you by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Also brought to you by Liquid IV. Fuel life's adventures and experience better hydration today. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember? So you don't have to. Well, this might be one of my favorite Batman movies, but this one is still my all-time favorite. I was 8 years old when I saw this on the big screen, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. It changed the way I look at comic book heroes who, aside from Superman, were not given much respect on the big screen. And even then they botched that up. If I'm right, I think this is the first PG-13 superhero movie. I know objectively there's better made Batman films, but not only does this one have the definitive live-action Batman Michael Keaton, who people bitched a shit show about when he was chosen, and now we're crying with joy when he comes back, but this did arguably change comic book movies. Before this film, the only live-action Batman we had was the Adam West show, which is great, but it's all we had. There was actually debate whether to go the same route with this, focusing on the campy humor rather than any drama. Thankfully, the comics were bringing back the darker roots, in fact going even darker with it, which inspired the studio to choose a dark but still relatively new director named Tim Burton. He said he modeled a lot of this movie after The Killing Joke, and years later you could argue it's a better Killing Joke movie than, well, The Killing Joke. Where Nolan focused more on vocal storytelling, Burton focused more on visual storytelling. So much of the characters are brought out not by long conversations, but rather few choice words and phenomenal expressions. There's so much awesome to talk about with this movie and so little time. So let's jump right in. This is my all-time favorite Batman film, Batman. Screw that shit, it's just Batman. No other film is called Batman. Doesn't count, it's called the movie. First off, I really should talk about the music. I know I've made a joke or two about Danny Elfman over the years, but the late 80s and early 90s really were his peak. And this is arguably his best ever. With Zimmer's theme, I always think of Batman brooding and walking. Elfman's theme, I think of him brooding and punching. It gets your adrenaline up while also being grand and gothic. And that is Batman to me. I also love that Kim Basinger's costumes get a credit, because when I think of costumes in Batman, clearly hers is what sticks out to me. We're shown my all-time favorite, Gotham City. It's smoky, it's gothic, it's dirty, it's literally dripping with atmosphere. It's like Fritz Lang's Metropolis if it was going to mug you.
Taxi! Taxi!
Fans of the comic were no doubt tricked, thinking this was Bruce's parents about to be killed. But it's a separate family trying to fight prostitutes hitting on little kids.
Hi, honey.
It's ewier than I remember.
Hey, mister, give me $1. Come on. Hey, mister, how about it? $1.
Oh, so that's where Dewey went. The family is still mugged though, and this looks like a job for Batman. The animated series. Yeah, like most Burton movies, the effects range from spectacular to laughably bad. Burton himself admitted he kinda likes switching up the quality of his effects to give them a bit of a B-movie feel. Sometimes it works, like this is one of my favorite shots, but if you look close, you can see the keying makes it invisible. That's kind of a fun thing if you're paying attention. Stuff like this, though, even the 80s was calling up saying, "What you doing?"
Hey, let's beat it, man. I don't like it up here.
We get our first mention of Batman with the crooks afraid of what happened to a criminal named Johnny Gough.
Johnny Gough got ripped and took a walk off a roof.
I heard the bat got it.
The bat? Oh, man, give me a break, will you?
See, that's what I love about this movie. It is dark, but it's not afraid to be a comic book. Nolan took a lot from the comics, arguably more than Burton, but in terms of style, he wanted it to be more realistic. This one takes itself seriously, but never too seriously. And these are classic comic book setups, or even radio play setups, which figures too, as there were crossovers with that as well. Batman, played by Michael Keaton, shows up to kick some ass. No, he gets back up and whoops them with a white flash, which is a holdover from a later fight scene where the camera's taking pictures. But Burton thought it made the fight look cooler, so he used it here too. Maybe the flash went by to warn him about Lois Lane, I don't know. Say hi to Johnny Gough for me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
Then I'm hard as hell. Not only is Keaton the best live-action Batman, but this is the only live-action Batman suit I can take seriously. Returns is pretty much the same, and alright, Affleck's was okay. But this one looks intimidating, arguably works Keaton's eyebrows into the mask, looks like a costume that's seen some fights, and of course, has that weird-ass bat turn. Keaton said the outfit was so stiff he couldn't turn his head, resulting in a pretty funny line in Dark Knight.
You want to be able to turn your head.
Sure made backing out of the driveway easier.
Here, they just said it makes him move otherworldly. Again, it embraces the comic book environment, so it's like he's always keeping a symmetrical, imposing stance. It still looks awesome, even if the bat symbol is a little wrong. Not gonna lie, it kinda looks like he grew some bat dicks.
The words Gotham City are synonymous with crime.
Cut to a fundraiser for Harvey Dent, played by Billy Dee Williams, which Bruce Wayne is not attending. Well, if he's not gonna see what one of his future foes looks like, he's like the rest of us.
People of Gotham City, I'm a man of few words.
Thank you. We're introduced to crooked cop Lieutenant Eckhart, played by William Hookins, and Alexander Knox, played by Robert Wuhl.
Don't be writing this stuff in the newspaper, Knox. It'll ruin your already useless reputation.
We got top men on this.
Lieutenant, is there a 6-foot bat in Gotham City? And if so, is he on the police payroll?
Is it true you're okay with the name Porkins? Who names a character Porkins? It looks like Knox isn't respected for his story on the Batman, as they even make drawings about him down at the office.
Knox, I got something for you. Very funny.
Shouldn't there be 2 signatures on there? He's introduced to Vicki Vale, played by Kim Basinger, fresh off of covering a Frank Miller in-joke. And yeah, okay, not every line in this is terrific.
I just loved your story, and I like bats.
She said that like she runs a site dedicated to a bat fetish. After fighting off a slew of lines that wouldn't fly today.
Hello, legs. You want me to pose nude, you're gonna need a long lens. First I'll take you to dinner and then we'll walk the trail. Will you marry me?
Funny, it's usually the guy dressed as Batman who talks to women like this. We see mob boss Carl Grissom, played by Jack Palance, wants gangster Jack Napier, played by Jack Nicholson, to do a bust at Access Chemicals, which is really a setup for him sleeping with his lover. This is the only one in the movie who can give Nicholson's overacting a run for his money. He's the only actor I've seen who can scream whispers.
Makes a connection with us and someone I can trust. What kind of damage? You're lucky, Dak.
Never play a game of telephone with this guy. She sells seashells. At Wayne Manor's fundraiser to save the Gotham City Festival, we're introduced to Bruce Wayne out of costume this time. I love that our introduction is him not always knowing who he is.
Could you tell me which of these guys is Bruce Wayne?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, for a photojournalist, you really should have done some research. He does come forward, though, as he eavesdrops on Vale and Knox quietly making fun of his art collection.
Oh, where'd this come from?
I have no idea.
It's Japanese.
How do you know?
Because I was in Gung Ho. Keaton said once he got Bruce Wayne down, Batman was very easy to figure out. And again, he's probably the best live-action Bruce Wayne as well, because he's so charming and likable, but just a hint off.
Oh, I read your work. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, thanks. Can I have a grant?
Give Knox a grant.
If you told me any of these Bruce Waynes were Batman, I'd easily believe it. But he would be a legit surprise. But not to the point where I wouldn't buy it. Maybe that's one of the reasons he was chosen. You so wouldn't believe he's Batman that the public literally refused he was Batman. Later that night, Jack finds out he's been double-crossed and the cops show up. Freeze! Do we look like Arnold with an ice joke book to you? We get an action sequence where Batman once again shows up, and in my opinion, everything about these two characters can be summed up here, where Batman grabs Jack, but his assistant Bob tells him to put him down.
Nice outfit.
Everything you need to know about these two is in those two glances. With Nolan's films, they have to talk philosophy, psychology, symbols, meanings, a ton to know what they're all about. And again, don't get me wrong, it works fine there. But all you need here is these two looks to understand fully what these people are like. Jack's not even the Joker yet, and I feel like I know what he's all about just from that reaction. And Keaton's still the only Batman who can smile without looking like a dumbass. Jack gets knocked into a vat of chemicals and, let's say, doesn't take it well.
what I have to work with here.
Fun fact, the instruments on that table are the same used by the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors, which Jack was in the original version of. Intentional? I don't know. Fantastic? Yes. Vicki and Bruce have a date at his house, and while yes, a lot of her role in the action scenes is just screaming,
Stop it. Get some help.
she does add an anchor of credibility to what's, let's face it, a group of weird-ass people.
Do you like eating in here?
You wanna know the truth? I don't think I've ever been in this room before.
She feels like a real person, as does Alfred, played by Michael Gough. Both of them allow a break from so much madness and bring a believable amount of heart to the film. I don't remember really caring much when Rachel and Wayne talked in the Nolan films. It always felt like it was just a way to move the story forward. Here, it's to reveal more about who they are, and it always feels like a legitimately warm conversation.
Sort of reminds me of my grandfather.
Were you close to him?
Yeah, I used to spend summers with he and my grandmother. They had a house on the lake.
I just saw a man get chemically scarred into a clown, and I would love to know more about her grandfather. Even to this day, I can't decide if this is really clever or the stupidest scene in the movie. I also eat insects. Jack returns as the Joker, killing Grissom, and by God, this might be the most fun I've seen a Joker have since Cesar Romero. I actually have a theory that each actor takes something from the previous Joker that results in a positive, get out of here, but also somehow unique performance. Apparently he improvised a lot of the weird movements and sounds, making it unquestionably Jack, but unquestionably fun too. Yes, he's creepy and killing people, but it looks like he's having such a ball laughing at his own jokes, it's kind of contagious. He's like a walking homicidal dad joke. You just laugh because of how hard he's laughing.
You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
Again, in contrast to Nolan's films, there's a big thing about Joker making a point and spreading chaos. In this one, his plan just is chaos. Sometimes he's an artist, sometimes he's an entertainer, sometimes he's a gangster, sometimes he's in love with someone, other times he'll just throw her out without thinking twice. I like you never know what's coming your way, because I don't think he always knows.
Can't make it then either. I've got a very important meeting today.
The next day, Bruce tells Vicki he's going to be out of town for a few days, so they can't hang out.
I'll talk to you guys when you get back.
Back, Miss Vale? We're going to be here for quite a while.
Thanks, Alfred. Just tell her I'm Batman while you're at it.
Speaking of which, Vale follows Bruce and sees he's the world's most romantic litterbug. Why is he dating a sidewalk? At a press conference with the mascot of Godfather's Pizza.
Mr. Grissom asked me to take over the operation of his businesses until he returns.
Again, I love how comic booky this is. A bunch of mimes perform to distract the people from Bob taking pictures, even though they'd probably be drawing more attention to him the way this is set up.
Grissom's signature is perfectly legitimate.
It is legitimate.
The Joker takes out the owner of Grissom's business, and it's here Bruce makes an amazing discovery. Mimes don't talk.
Talk.
Hey, talking.
Talk.
All right, let me tell you about Honey. You ever do online shopping? Of course you do. I do it and I love it. But you know what I don't love? Putting in the promo codes. Yeah, because they're like, put in these numbers and letters you gotta find somewhere else. It's more typing. I don't like the type-ins, but you know what? Honey skips all that. Skips it, I says. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart.
Talk.
I can talk.
Talk.
Ah, imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites right now. When you check out, the Honey button appears and all you have to do is click apply coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for that site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. Look at this thing here. Look at that. I was gonna get that. I'm like, oh no, that's a big price. But then I use honey, and look at the price drop. Look at the monies. The monies I save's amazing. Amazing. I put the S at the end of every word. I'm so excited. Honey doesn't just work on desktops. It works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll not only be helping yourself, but you'll be supporting the show here. Come on, up a guy out here. Ow! I never recommend something I didn't use. Get honey for free at joinhoney.com/nostalgia. That's joinhoney.com/nostalgia. Don't miss out on these great savings. Damn done you getting anything else out of me.
Talk.
I hate talking.
Talk.
New Year's is here. And there's no better way to kick off 2022 than by making sure you're feeling like your best self. One goal I got is to get more fit, and I'll be doing that with the help of my favorite hydration product, Liquid IV. One stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. Liquid IV has incredible hydration flavors like watermelon, lemon lime, strawberry, pina colada, and more. It's such a healthy way to get your liquid intake, and on top of that, they're delicious. The flavors of pina colada is my favorite. Come on, pina colada, come on, how can you go wrong? It's amazing, it's so good. Tell your mom. What makes Liquid IV so effective? The science of cellular transport technology, designed to enhance rapid absorption of water and other key ingredients into the bloodstream. One stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. I know I already said that, but I wanted to say it twice because it's important. Liquid IV is on a mission to change the world. Liquid IV has donated over 19 million servings globally. So it's a delicious product and it's deliciously charitable. Yeah, I didn't know I could put those words together, but I didn't know Liquid IV could be so delicious. Grab Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code Nostalgia at checkout. That's 25% off your order when you use the promo code Nostalgia at liquidiv.com. Experience better hydration today at liquidiv.com and use the promo code Nostalgia. That's it, I ain't talking no more. Why am I even here anyway?
Jaywalking.
Okay, I'll pay the fine.
On Gotham's most colorless news set, reports are coming in that models are dying in a very strange way.
The fashion world was stunned today by the sudden deaths of models Candy Walker and Amanda Keeler.
Authorities suspect Condiment Man
In Gotham were discovered today.
It looks like the Joker has contaminated a bunch of beauty products, killing the people who use them, forcing newscasters to stop wearing makeup, which is pretty hilarious. And Batman looks at more info on Jack Napier. Idiot, if he just turned that page, he'd find the man who killed his parents! Seriously, that's an amazing detail.
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be 10 minutes late to the museum, okay?
He has to get ready, though, for the date he's not going on.
I'm not meeting her today.
Yeah, for the world's greatest detective, he sure does take his sweet time putting together what's going on, costing a lot of lives at the Flugelheim Museum. They just want other museums to stop making fun of the Guggenheim's name. It's of course the Joker who meets up with Vale after doctoring up the art, then undoctoring it. And did I mention Prince did all the songs in this? Don't worry, if not, Prince will make it clear. He always sounds like Minnie Mouse if her purse got stolen. This might be a Batman and Joker movie, but in real life, we know Prince was both. Joker makes the moves on Vale, saying he wants her to photograph his work.
You will take pictures and record my work. You will join me in the avant-garde of the new aesthetic.
Can we just give an honorary Oscar to the guy who has to have his face down in the lasagna this whole scene? That dude is surprisingly convincing. Batman breaks in to save the day.
Hold on.
It should be pointed out that Keaton suggested having a different voice for Batman so people wouldn't recognize him as Wayne. Up until that point, Batman just had the same speaking voice as Bruce Wayne. Think about it, Kevin Conroy altering his voice might not have happened if Keaton didn't come up with this idea. I personally want to thank him for not only doing it so well, but for inspiring others who didn't do it so well.
Where were the other drugs going?
I know I've made enough jokes about that. Oh, don't worry, there's still more coming. The two of them get into my personal favorite Batmobile. Fun fact, when they showed this model to Burton, he said, "That looks great. Where's the door?" Shit, the top opens up. Yeah, that's it. A last-minute addition, but it worked out pretty good.
Oh, my cabbages!
How much do you weigh?
About 108, I think.
Speaking of models, having this on Blu-ray did not do these models any favors. Didn't I see Dark Helmet playing with those? His stunt double is also, shall we say, a little John McCaney. But he gives us a kick-ass fight scene, so I can't complain.
You weigh a little more than 108.
And that was the last we ever saw of Batman. He takes her to the Batcave, again to some of the greatest music you will ever hear. How good is it? It made the Batman and Robin trailer look epic.
When Venom meets vengeance.
That's no small feat. And he says he cracked the Joker's code, but that's not the only reason he brought her there.
There is something else you have that I want.
What?
This is the point where every parent that brought their kid went, no. No, he just took the film she shot of him from her bra. That's still kind of bad.
If I bring something to you, can we make the evening edition?
She gets the info to the press, and Bruce thinks about telling her the truth. It's not easy confessing a lie, though, when you've already lied about so much.
Listen, I came over to clear a few things.
I don't know who you think you are.
I'm Batman. Oh, I didn't want it to come out that way. It's a testament to Keaton's charm that he can tell her to shut up.
You're a real nice girl, and I like you a lot, but for right now, shut up.
And literally seconds later, she's comforting him.
Hey, it's okay. You can tell me.
Shut up.
But the Joker interrupts, and as I think many have pointed out before, their three confrontations are once as Batman and Napier, second as Bruce and Joker, and finally as Batman and Joker. And you gotta love a scene where the idea is who can out-crazy the other.
Mean kid, bad seed. I like him already.
It's like a challenge for whose eyebrows can hit the ceiling first.
Light shot! Now you want to get nuts! Come on! Let's get nuts.
He just went full Beetlejuice. Never go full Beetlejuice. The Joker shoots him, but Vale discovers later that he's gone, leaving a bulletproof plate behind. I had to wait for a bomb squad before opening that. Okay, that was pretty funny. Later, she discovers that Bruce's parents, or at least father, was murdered. Boy, the mother really does get the shaft in these movies. I wouldn't be surprised if the article read, oh, and some broad he married. Don't worry, Snyder would overcorrect this in the future.
Public safety.
Joker here.
The next day, Joker makes another threat, which at this point Gotham is so used to crime they don't even listen to it, until he says he's gonna drop millions in cash on the crowd.
I will dump 20 million in cash on the crowd.
Again, I feel like this has more timeless commentary than the hours of discussion from Dark Knight Rises. A corrupt world will forgive anything if you corrupt them even further. But Bruce figures out two things. One, Jack Napier killed his parents when he was a boy. And two, Footlight Frenzy is the longest running show in Gotham.
Let's go, Jack!
I'll admit I go back and forth between what I think with the Joker killing his folks. I like that it's usually a low-level criminal who, in some versions, is never found, but it does tie things together pretty nicely in a self-contained movie, seeing how they both, in an ironic way, created each other.
I made you. You made me first.
But just as Bruce discovers who the Joker really is, Vale discovers who Bruce really is.
Tell me if I'm crazy, but that wasn't just another night for either of us, was it?
For whatever reason, people really lost their minds when Alfred let Vale into the Batcave. But what, she didn't put it together by now? He was literally about to tell her, and honestly, I thought him being bulletproof and disappearing out the window was his way of telling her. But nope, fans made such a shit show about something nobody cares about years later that they even referenced it in the sequel.
Who let Vicki Vale into the Batcave? I'm sitting there working and I turn around, there she is. Oh, hi, Vic. Come on in.
Yes, fixing problems fans have in a sequel always turns out great. They have again what feels like a really honest conversation. None of these lines are clever or flashy, they just talk like real people.
But I don't know what to think of all this. I really don't.
Look, sometimes I don't know what to think about this.
They say casting me will destroy Batman, but this is okay. They try to make amends, and Batman heads to Access Chemicals to blow them sky high. Yeah, 80s Batman believes in killing, guns, and Looney Tunes style explosions. I smell a bat in the next lineup. But the Joker, and his Kenner accessories not included, get out in time and start poisoning the city with toxic gas on the crowd. In a deleted scene, he knocks out the cops so they don't stop him, and the money is fake. Actually putting his face
on the $1 bill.
The cop thing would have been a nice explanation, but I like more that this was probably the mob's money, like he was wasting it all on this one joke. It's kind of Ledger-esque. Just a side note, this is one of my favorite shots of the movie. I want to see the HBO logo in the sky at the end of that. Nevertheless, Batman uses the Batplane to take the balloons down, or rather up. This doesn't please the Joker at all.
Bob? Gun.
A moment of silence for the best hench person until Harley Quinn.
Bobby's dead! Show some respect!
Joker takes out Batman with, what else? A joke, and sends him crashing to the ground and taking Vicki hostage.
I've got to get you to the church on time.
If I had to pick which version of Batman had a My Fair Lady reference, it would not be this one. Batman is alive though. I love the smoke he spits out. And he quietly sneaks up to our villain. Admittedly, that is the dumbest thing he does in the movie. Joker sends one of the bells crashing down, blocking the cops from going further.
Let's go.
If I can't move it, none of you can.
They get their Toontown lights though and shine it on Batman fighting off the last of the henchmen. However the hell they got up there. I am going over here apparently. As I was saying, I am Batman! Oh sorry, you can be Batman. You wanna be Batman? You're not Batman. He defeats him though and finally makes his way to the Joker. Vale tries to distract him and I love this look she gives as if like, what does he do in this suit? Oh God, don't think about it. Batman admits Joker killed his parents, and this really is a moment that maybe needed to quote another Batman property.
You killed my parents.
Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down?
I know it didn't exist yet, but that's no excuse. Batman shoves him off a cliff, only to have the Joker shove him off a cliff. But Batman still has one trick up his sleeve. I'll admit, I bust a gut every time I hear the Joker go from laughing hysterically to just saying shit. I don't know how many Jokers have just straight out said shit, but there needs to be more. This is a great drawn out death. You love seeing him laugh while he struggles, but it's also very satisfying because Batman's seeing the killer of his parents get his very slow comeuppance. Yeah, until it turns into a Ralph Bakshi movie. Batman and Vale fall too, but he uses his grappling hook to save them. We'll be okay, as long as you weigh 108. No, the day is saved, and the cops now have a great connection with the Caped Crusader.
We've received a letter from Batman this morning.
It just says, I'm Batman. They turn on the bat signal. Vicki goes to visit Bruce. One of the worst transitions I've ever seen in anything takes place. But who cares? The music's amazing, and this is one hell of a final shot. And that was Batman. All these years later, still my favorite. This is what got Batman, as we know him today, the dark, brooding Caped Crusader, into the mainstream again. The makers of Batman the Animated Series admitted without this film, they wouldn't have the show as we know it. Almost everything connected to Batman in media has this dark, gritty tone. In fact, the challenge now seems to be how far can they go to make it even darker. This also brought comic book movies into the mainstream, as they exploded shortly after. Most comic book movies took the formula of not telling an origin story, but rather just starting out with the hero already fighting crime. So many superhero movies afterwards owe their popularity because this film was such a massive hit. I love it's more of a show don't tell kind of flick. I love how the Joker is always loud in the open where Batman is always quiet in the shadows. I love how so much of this movie's strengths is in its performances and its visuals. That's not at all to say the script is bad. actually argue it lets the characters just be characters and not lectures about the characters. I clearly love Nolan's Dark Knight, but for me, there's only one original, Batman. With that said, just because this is my personal favorite Batman movie doesn't mean it's objectively the best.
I like bats.
Hey, Doug Walker here doing the charity shout out, and if you saw the last charity shout out that we did, you know that the next couple of these are gonna be connecting to helping out the Ukraine, and we heard this one's really good, so we're just gonna go ahead and keep doing that one. It's called, I hope I'm saying it right, Razom, R-A-Z-O-M. I could be pronouncing that wrong, I'm not sure, but they've done a lot of great work, and if you want to know more about them, Razom's emergency response is the SOS button that is pressed in times of need. They created this project to provide urgent help and support in face of an extreme and unforeseen situation like in the Ukraine. Today, the sovereign nation of Ukraine has to deal with the most horrendous and catastrophic emergency, a brutal invasion. Razom is responding to this by providing critical medical supplies and amplifying the voices of Ukrainians. So, I mean, again, you watch the news, you know what's going on there. Just the most help we can send, the better. So please consider donating to this, or at the very least just sharing the link, trying to get other people involved, because you know how much suffering is going on over there. So please definitely consider taking a look at. Thank you so much and take care.